Is Cal Kestis canon in Star Wars? Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The fact Cal Kestis is canon will definitely be the fact a relief to any Fallen Order players who might have been unsure. After all, the Padawan Order 66 Survivor-turned-Jedi became a fan favorite over the 3.5 years since his first starring game came out. With Jedi Fallen Order set in 14 BBY, 5 years after the Clone Wars, and Jedi Survivor set 5 years after that, Cal Kestis canon timeline fits quite nicely with other Star Wars properties. For instance, while Jedi Survivor takes place in 9 BBY, so does the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Monaghan provides both the voice and likeness for Cal's character, including his natural red hair. On playing the part of Cal, he said it's pretty surreal to see a character that you built and got to explore and imagine. It's a character that I've really grown to love. He also stated, it's such a privilege to be able to play something that has a storied history behind it, but also something that I'm a fan of and have always wanted to be part of since I was a kid. The actor didn't want to model Cal on any specific Star Wars character, adding, I wanted Cal's personality and demeanor and everything to come out of his own experiences and his own stories, and to build it from an inward place. During his audition process for the game, Monaghan wasn't told that he was auditioning for a Star Wars game. At that point I didn't know I was auditioning for a Star Wars game, but I kinda knew. They made these fake audition pages and stuff, and I was kinda reading it like, this is Star Wars, isn't it? They were like, no, of course not. So when I got into the room and they gave me the toy lightsaber, I was like, I knew it. Before the developers knew who Cal Kestis was going to be, there were several different concepts. The director of the game, Stig Asmussen, revealed, we talked about doing an alien character, we talked about doing a different gender, but we arrived at where we were because at the time, Rey was kind of the thing for Star Wars, so it made a lot more sense for us to have a male protagonist. Fictional biography. Clone Wars. Cal Kestis was a Jedi Padawan during the Clone Wars, training under Jedi General Jaro Tapel, Travis Willingham. After a successful mission, Cal, his master, and their troops prepared to leave for Megiddo when Supreme Chancellor Palpatine initiated Order 66, turning all the clone troops against the Jedi, including Kestis and Tapel. Tapel, able to sense the betrayal of his troops, killed the clone preparing to shoot him. The duo made their way to the escape pods with Kestis sneaking through the pipes while Tapel sabotaged the ship's reactor. Cal made it to the escape pods with his master, despite losing his lightsaber. As they entered the escape pods, Tapel was fatally shot by one of the troopers and died, advising his pupil to stay true to the Jedi. Cal kept his master's lightsaber, originally a dual-bladed lightsaber, splintered in two from a shot from a clone blaster. Cal was heavily traumatized by this event, hence he could only use the Force to slow objects down due to the trauma damaging his connection to the Force. Age of the Empire. 5 years after the Jedi Purge, Cal remains in hiding on the planet Braca as a rigger for the Scrapper Guild. During an accident, he uses the Force to save a friend's life, though is spotted by an Imperial probe droid. This leads the Empire to send their Inquisitors after him, led by the second sister. Cal is rescued by former Jedi Sir Juanda and pilot Grease Dritus, who allow him to take refuge on their ship Stinger Mantis. Since the former has cut herself from the Force after a brush with the dark side, Cal is recruited to retrieve a holocron containing a list of Force-sensitive people in the galaxy, which will allow them to train more Jedi and reform the Order. Tracking it to the planet Bogano, Cal befriends a droid named BD-1 and learns the holocron was hidden by Jedi Master Eno Cordova, Cir's former master and the droid's former owner. The only way to retrieve it is to recover an artifact called the Astrium, developed by an extinct species called the Zepho and hidden in an ancient tomb visited by the Jedi. With assistance from BD-1, Cir, and Grease, Cal retraces Cordova's steps to the planets Zepho, Kashyyyk, and Dathomir to investigate the Zepho's tombs. During the journey, He allies himself with Saw Gerrera's rebels during a battle with the Empire and comes into conflict with the Haxion Brood, a crime syndicate to whom Grease owes a debt. Cal also learns that the second sister is actually Cere's former Padawan Trilla, who she betrayed to the Empire after being captured and interrogated by Darth Vader. Eventually, tracking the Astrium to Dathomir, Cal comes into conflict with Night Sister Merrin and fallen Jedi Terran Malicos. Whilst accessing the final tomb, he is subjected to visions of the Jedi Purge and a bitter Tapal, who blames him for his death and destroys his lightsaber. Forced to flee as Merrin and Malicos battle each other, Cal is prepared to give up the search, though Cere convinces him to continue and rebuild his lightsaber with parts of her own. With help from BD-1, Cal recovers a Kyber crystal from Ilum, during which he realizes that he can overcome failures and comes to terms with his guilt. After constructing his new weapon, he returns to Dathomir and joins forces with Merrin to defeat Malicos. Cal then retrieves the Astrium and invites Merrin to join the Mantis crew. Returning to the vault, Cal uses the Astrium to access the holocron, though experiences visions of him and the younglings being captured and turned into future Inquisitors. He is soon attacked by Trilla, who steals the holocron to present to Darth Vader. After being knighted by Cere, Cal helps her infiltrate the Fortress Inquisitorius to retrieve it, during which he defeats Trilla. After recovering the holocron, they are confronted by Darth Vader, who kills Trilla for failing him and chases them through the base. Cal and Cere barely manage to escape the Sith Lord and are rescued by Merrin. Afterward, Cal and the Mantis crew decide to destroy the holocron to ensure the safety of Force sensitives in the galaxy. Star Wars Jedi, Battle Scars. Star Wars Jedi, Battle Scars is a canon novel published on March 7, 2023, and written by Sam Maggs. The plot follows Cal Kestis leading the Mantis crew on an adventure set between Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order and the highly anticipated Star Wars Jedi Survivor.